Pretty cool. So I got this, I borrowed part of this from Naval Ravikant, who's really brilliant. You can follow him on Twitter. But there's four C's to leverage. All right, I said the whole premise of this presentation is leverage. So entrepreneur, check that box. Market, check that box. Now scaling the deliverable. So if I'm looking at a company, I want to make the deliverable more scalable, increase the profit margin. Here's how you'd think about it. So the first level of leverage is labor. So back in the day, this was the only kind of leverage. That's how the pyramids were built. That's how ancient royalty had. They just had bodies, right? The problem with bodies nowadays is that you need permission to do things, right? And so you have to ask people to do things or pay them to do things. Otherwise, they won't do them. It's such a bummer, right? We'd make so much more money if we didn't have to do that. Second level of leverage, and this is a higher level of leverage, is capital. This is what the next generation of billionaires and fortunes were built off of, Buffett, Munger, et cetera. Once again, they used other people's money, so permission is required. Unfortunately, can't just take the money. But you can still make a lot of money just leveraging capital, right? And at this point in time, it was leveraging capital times labor. The third of this is code. The difference here is that this is permissionless. If you write software, you don't need to ask permission to duplicate it. It just will continue to duplicate over and over again, right? At no cost. So if you look at the MailChimp founders, it was code. That is what created their billions. And then finally, you've got content or media, right? That's how Joe Rogan can sell his podcast for $100 million. What's his product? Media. It costs zero cost of replication, all right? I'm gonna bring this home in a second. I promise you'll like where we're going, all right? And then you'll notice that above the top line, zero permission is required for either of those things. And that is where the new fortunes are being built. And right now, if you look at that pyramid and you're like, I'm not on that pyramid, you should get on that pyramid because that's where all the fortunes are. And if you look at the very top here, these are guys that use all four. Bezos, Zuck, Dorsey, they've got labor working for them, they've got capital working for them, they've got code working for them, and they have content and media working for them. All of them with permissionless leverage. Interesting? Cool. We call that a leverage four-banger. It was funnier on the plane when I added that slide. So I was only able to see this trend after I had made these jumps. So my goal is by showing you this trajectory, you can do it proactively, all right? So each opportunity jump that I'm about to show you, 10x my income. So at first I was an employee, I was a management consultant, I was someone else's labor, I was making 4 figures a month. Then I became a trainer. I was my own labor. I'm my own master, right? So I became self-employed. I jumped to 5 figures a month. Then I became a gym owner. And then I got to finally use labor as leverage. I got to use other people's time, right? And then I went to 6 figures a month. Then, and this is a big pivot, I went from leveraging labor to leveraging labor and media, which is I started licensing. Right? I started licensing something that has no cost to replicate. All right? And that's when we started making $1 million a month. I'm talking income, not revenue here, by the way. Next level is 8 figures a month. And this is where I think we're headed. We'll do about 85-ish million this year. We'll see how the quarter ends. And this is because now I added capital into this mix. Now I can buy things, right? So that gives me more leverage to expand what I'm already doing. And so this is what I think will get me to 8 figures a month. I'll let you know when I get there. And then finally, 9 figures a month is doing the whole stack, right? Do I know what I'm going to do there? Not yet, but I got summers.